So Caitlin Clark spoke out about, well, she answered a question about all of the online discourse and trolls, which, ironically enough, like, everybody has waited until Caitlin Clark, not even waited until Caitlin Clark is out of the league, but, like, it became a much bigger issue when Caitlin Clark went out of the league, has been, well, not been out of the league, has been done for the season. And my funniest part of this whole situation is that the Chicago or Connecticut Sun coach came out and basically said, can we please just focus on the basketball, stop platforming the trolls? While obviously every decent person is going to tell you that some of the stuff that's going on, whether it be online or in person, isn't right. I think the heckling has crossed the line with some of these players, especially when it's a lot of bad faith heckling. Because obviously, look, I'm a Leeds United fan. I've heard 100 times worse things said in football stadiums that it's kind of ignored, which is a completely different conversation to have. But it's like, obviously, when you're 10 feet away from the players, it hits more. Like the player did to Clark, or like the fan did to Clark, or just, I'd say the amount of heckling players have gotten has increased. But the reality of the situation is that with millions of more eyes means thousands of more bad fans. With millions of good fans come thousands of bad fans, and that's just the reality of the situation. But my favorite part, again, about the let's focus on basketball is everybody applauded Stephanie White and was like, great speech, yeah, let's focus on basketball. And you want to know what's being ignored? The fact that Collier scored 42 points and 38 and averaged 40 in a playoff series for the first time ever. That has been completely ignored. Like, I was just even looking to see what, like, the big WNBA people, these, like, legacy fans that, hate all the new fans. Man, I've talked about Collier more than they have, and they're out here complaining about the likes of myself. But anyway, let's listen to what Caitlin Clark said.
Caitlin, when your head coach came out with a statement today saying she announces all the racism that some people have felt in this league, players, trolls online, all those things, as one of the biggest stars in this league, what are your thoughts on the things not only your teammates have to endure, but just the entire league? And obviously, you've spoken on this before, but just now that you're coaching your GM, we're talking about it as well.
Yeah.
One thing I do like the fact that James Boyd made sure to say, I know you've spoke on this before. Because people have been out there saying Caitlin silence. Like, do they want her every single time something happens to every player to come out and say something? Because that's not going to do anything. The only thing that's going to do is screw with her. But at the same time, I do think a lot of these people don't actually care if things get better or worse. They just want to screw with Caitlin Clark. Like, they don't really care if anything gets better or worse. They just want to make sure that Caitlin Clark goes down. If they're going down, Caitlin Clark's going down with them. Or not even if they're going down. I think a lot of players would rather, again, I would think they would rather half their income as long as Caitlin Clark is out of the league. And I genuinely mean that.
It's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, the WNBA. But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league. I think continuing to uplift this league in a very positive light is the best thing that we can do, because there are so many great players, there's so many great teams, there are so many positive storylines that can be written and celebrated. And for me, that's why I became a fan of this league, is these people were my idols. I grew up wanting to be like them. So I think continuing to uplift and represent this league in a positive way is the best thing that we can do.
I genuinely think that there's going to be some responses being like, oh, she's trying to deflect the topic off the real thing. She's trying to focus on basketball and this is bigger than basketball. I actually think that's going to be the general response, is that, oh, she tried to say, you know what, let's talk about the fact that these trolls are trolls. Let's talk about all the good fans. Let's talk about all the new good things in the league. Let's talk about the good players. I can guarantee you there are people that are going to be like that. Again, it's going to be a minority of people, but it's going to be a loud minority of people. Let's see the post engagements. There's so many great players and teams, and obviously that is the best thing. She basically said in different words exactly what Stephanie White said. If you think a 22-year-old needs to do more, then I ask, what are you doing? Whatever. Couldn't have been said much better. Like, I agree with this. certain people spinning it into something. I don't know who those people are. And look, if Jamel Hill has basically come out and said this, but this is one thing I really hate about this. But like, this is the one thing I really hate, is that everyone has come to the conclusion, like, if this happened when they quote unquote turned on her for the Taylor Swift post, where it's like, these people aren't actually Caitlin Clark fans, they're just trolls using Caitlin Clark. We all came to that agreement. People have been shouting that from the top of the mountain for months, and then everyone came to that agreement, and then a week later, not even a week later, how many days later was it again? Caitlin Clark fans are the problem. Caitlin Clark fans are the problem. Her fans are the problem. But it's like, it's never been her fans. It's been... And look, again, I think there are some actual Caitlin Clark fans that are toxic fans in the way that Ronaldo and Messi fans are toxic. But like, you got to distinguish between toxic fans and trolls. I feel like she stayed consistent and constant. Heck, she came on live TV after this incident. And by the way, like, for people saying, oh, that was just it was just like hype, it was just trash talk, like, I'm sorry. It would have been very, very difficult. Obviously, with the stuff that Angel Reese, like, had to deal with, no one should. But like, she came on to defend somebody who did this after the game. This wasn't heat of the moment.
Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark. Marcellus. The glass? You gonna catch it? Back it up, y'all. I'm not the one to disrespect.
She literally just goes, Caitlin Clark, I don't disrespect, while disrespecting Caitlin Clark. And it's like, she has come out and defended Angel Reese. And like, look, she did the right thing. She's a bigger person than I am. She is a bigger person than I am. And she has gone out of her way to defend Angel Reese, Kennedy Carter, all of these other people. She is a much better person than I am. She's a much better person than most of the other people, like, in this league. She's one of the better people in the league. Like, obviously, like, look, I don't know who anything behind closed doors. There are a lot of really good people in the league. Heck, some of the teammates are unbelievable people. I'll put Erica Wheeler on that. Like, if you're asking me who might win the, like, person of the year in the WNBA, it's probably Erica Wheeler. But like, she's done nothing but try to uplift the league, defend everyone around her, even sometimes. And by the way, like, the Angel Reese did deserve to be defended, because after that situation, like, it did go way too far. But like, she has defended people cheap shotting her. She sometimes, in the Kennedy Carter situation, she has defended someone who realistically probably shouldn't have been defended by her anyway. And she still just got hate. But at least now it's going to be hard to see how they twist their words. And one thing is, the guy who asked the question says, could have also asked about the threats Caitlin Clark received. And I'm of the opinion, I said this here, it's like, I don't feel like he did. I was like, if Caitlin Clark doesn't want to bring it to light and she feels that's the best way, then let her do it. Like, just like Caitlin Clark has no moral responsibility to appease certain groups of fans that she'll never win with, she also has no responsibility to air out her personal crap to the public so that people that are on her side have some sort of gotcha. Even though, yeah, would it be, like, the reality of it is that what Caitlin Clark gets is as bad as what Angel different, but like, it's as much abuse. Obviously, the abuse is different. There's different severities of the abuse. What's said can be worse, but like, both of these players are getting death threats. Both of these players have had to get... Well, Caitlin Clark walks around with security because she got followed home. Both of these players have had to deal with people in real life. Both of these players have had to deal with the negatives of celebrity culture. Because obviously, Caitlin Clark doesn't platform it. And if you deal best with it by doing that, by leaning on your family and stuff, you shouldn't have to bring that into the public, which... for some sort of a gotcha moment for most of the time for actual fans. I think most reasonable people will say that. Like, the most important thing is her mental health, and if her mental health will be improved by her not coming out about it and making sure that she just is able to deal with it, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day. The most important thing, whether it's Caitlin Clark, whether it's Angel Reese, whether it's all these players, the most important thing at the end of the day is their own mental health, making decisions that will improve that. And I don't think Caitlin has any obligation. Well, I don't think she has any obligation to speak out about some of the stuff all the time. Obviously, if you're asked about like being asked about the disrespectful stuff, the hurtful, the racist stuff. Obviously, if you're asked about it, speak out about it like she did perfectly, but she's under no responsibility to just randomly start speaking out for things. Just like I don't think she's under any responsibility to talk negatively about the crazies on the other side. I don't think it's the responsibility of any player to talk about the crazies. If they deal with it best by getting off social media, that's what they should do. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.